Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are so thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling parents and children to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions and to create space for all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogan, support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces every other Sunday. We actually have a thought piece scheduled to drop this upcoming Sunday, so be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. Now, if it is the case that you are looking for a listening alternative, well, we're available wherever podcasts are playing. We've provided you with access to a few links down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time we post. And of course, if you like these conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today's topic of discussion is education. On the topic of education, we're going to be talking about the confidence level that we can cultivate, or that we should be cultivating in making decisions for ourselves, even if they're contrary to what our communities or the people around us would want for us. And I think that this is an important life skill to gain, because a lot of the times we miss the opportunities that are really aligned to what it is that we want in life, because we don't want to risk disappointing the people around us, and because that decision is going to come at a high cost. But I think that a lot of the really significant decisions in our lives, they do come at a high cost. They do mean that there are certain aspects of our realities that are going to be subject to change, whether that's the people, places, situations that we find ourselves in that we might enjoy, that might have to change their dynamic, and those relationships and those situations might be subject to change as a result of those decisions that you're thinking and deciding on making. But I think it's important to cultivate the muscle to make those decisions, because a lot of the times we discount the value of the future that is unknown, that is uncertain, for what we know for certain is good for us or feels good for us at this point in time. So for those of you who don't know, like, I am someone who's had fairly significant career transitions, but even before my first professional job working in an insurance company, I in 1 year held maybe 7 jobs. Like, I just was looking for my niche. I wanted to find something that I felt like was really in alignment with what I wanted to spend my time doing part-time as I was going to school. And so I was hired and I quit jobs just so readily in that year before my gap year. So I ended up going on a gap year the year after, when I got hired into the insurance company. But I had remembered it was maybe my 5th hop, and I had called and I had mentioned that I found a new job. This is a great new opportunity. And I remember during my career, there were a few times where I was interested in making a career transition. I was interested in doing something new. I felt like I had plateaued in those specific spaces, and I was talking to different people or different mentors or different people who are like in a different generation than I am. I mean, I think that that's an important point, because I think that a lot of the people who have mentored me were in different generations than I was. So their thinking and their philosophy philosophy around career was very different. They wanted a more traditional linear career path. That's what they thought everyone should be sort of aiming towards, where I was not looking for that. I was looking to find something that was really aligned to where I wanted to spend my time. And that typically just wasn't a driver for what drove people to make really significant career transitions. It felt risky. It felt risky to the people hearing me talk about like that being the cause of me wanting to jump from one industry to another, or from one role to another. And a lot of what they would tell me to dissuade me was, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. And I remember that is just the saying that I decided was the antithesis of my existence. I didn't want the known to be what kept me from what was drawing me into the unknown. I didn't want ambiguity to be so daunting, to be so frightening, that I stayed safe in the corner that I felt unsatisfied and dissatisfied with. And I think a lot of the people who we seek advice from are people who have built the muscle of denying themselves the opportunity to explore their curiosity, or to align their energy creatively, or align their energy professionally in alignment with what it is that their passions are, because of this, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't, right? Because of this need for security and for stability. And while those things are necessary, I think that pursuing something that's more aligned to you shouldn't be something that be so far removed from also gaining stability and security there. Like, there would be transitionary periods, of course, where there was some rocky times, like transitionary periods or periods of growth. They're never easy, but you reach a steady state and things go great, right? Like, it ends up being what you were looking for. You find that fulfillment, and at some point in the game, you need development again, you need growth again, and then you do the process again, and that's what growth is. But I think to avoid the entire process and to avoid the decision making around that process, because you don't want to risk what you know, and what you know is what's causing you to think about what's beyond. I think that that's one of those cognitive dissonances that we've normalized quite a bit in North America and then around the world as well. I don't think it's even just North America, because it's something that I experience wherever it is that I go. But I think we need to start developing the muscle of being a lot more resilient in the face of uncertainty, and resilient in the face of the sacrifices that some decisions are going to create. And recognizing that for the things that you really do care for, they are really not interested in risking or in sacrificing or in compromising. I think that those things will stay steady. There might be a transitionary period where things are a bit rocky. You're trying to find your new footing now that you're growing, that you're pursuing this passion, and it's changing you. It's going to change the dynamic a bit. But I think the dynamics that are built to last are built to last through the turbulence. And I think that protecting relationships or situations and circumstances from the turbulence that comes with growth is a way of stifling those relationships as well. And I don't think we think about it that way, but I think if your relationship is going to cost you your growth, if it's going to cost you the things that you're passionate about, the alignment that you're seeking, then you've put an expiry date in that relationship regardless. So rather than wait it out and wait for the relationship to kind of die and fizzle out slowly, I think give the relationship enough confidence that it can stand the pressure test, that it can deal with the instability, it can deal with this turbulence, and it will build and shift and change as you grow and shift and change the way that it's supposed to, whether that's together or whether that's apart. I don't think that's within anyone's realm of control, but I do think that if it's as a result of you pursuing alignment, and as a result of you just being very mindful of the choices that you're making, and recognizing that the choices that you're making are the right choices for you and not like, short-sighted choices that are hurting people for no reason. Like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying, like, you've put some deep thought into it, and you recognize that, like, this is a path that you need to pursue. And even if that means you put everything in your life under a pressure test, and some of the things in your life that you care about might fall away because of that pressure test, but some of the things will cleave closer to you. I think that we need to trust that the process will reveal like what needs to stay and what needs to go when it comes time to level up or to try out something new. So I think that making decisions can be scary, it can be daunting, it can feel like a lot of weight on our shoulders. There's a lot at play, but I think it's the right muscle if you're focused on growth and development to kind of build, because I think that this life is getting more and more complex, more and more ambiguous. We talk a little bit about VUCA. I talked a lot about VUCA a few years ago. I haven't talked about it for a while, but I think that the future worker, the future entrepreneur is not really about like a traditional set of skills. It's about your capacity and your ability to deal with volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous situations. And I think that following alignment definitely puts you in a place where you're dealing with that all the time, and you're allowing your relationships to also go through that VUCA, go through that volatility, uncertainty, and deal with that complexity and ambiguity, and see how that pressure forges or fractures those relationships. And I think that both, again, are inevitable. I think that who we come into contact with, how we come into contact with them, or the situations or the circumstances that are for us or not for us, those are contingent on the choices that we make. And if we choose to live big, to live in alignment with what we feel we need, with our growth, with our potential, then trust that the process and that the outcomes and the consequences of the choices that we make are always going to be the right ones, even if they result in some pain and heartbreak. In any case, that is the topic for today. Food for thought for you. Definitely on the topic for education, because a lot of us are having to make decisions every day. And as we get older, they get a little bit more complex. They get a little bit more heavy, I guess. There's a lot more at play, but it doesn't mean that we shy away from those choices. It's important that we seize the day and we rise to the occasion. In any case, that was it, but definitely not all. Now, before letting you go, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we will be going live at least twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our Facebook page. So definitely be sure to tune in. Now, these events are paid events. So if you do see yourself participating in our community on an ongoing basis, then I do suggest that you take a look at one of our package plans. Yes, so we do offer package plans over and above our live events, as well as access to webinars and workshops, largely focused on self-mastery over and above those events. So check it out, be part of our game changer community, being part of the change that you want to see, allowing us a small role to play in your journey. We are on the road to 1K, so we do invite you to follow us across all of our social media platforms, and we look forward to chatting with all of you very soon. We'll talk to you later.